Thanks.
What's up, Dr. Anna Marie? Demo.
Oh, did he? Good. Freshman? Okay. Oh, very good.
When you do the proclamation for the electric department,
Yes.
the alignment appreciation, Brad and the guys are going to
Come up front, yeah.
And Pam's going to get a picture.
Okay. I told him I'll stand behind it. You know, that really was good. I even commented how good that was. Yeah. Yeah, you hit everything, and that's why I said I don't have to do one. How's it going? How's it going?
How are you, sir?
Good. Yeah, I wasn't going to do it.
I don't think I've seen the
Language
keys.
that was written in this thing was horrible. So Pam, right behind you, had to go through and straighten out the whole thing. Pam, right. Yeah, given by Commissioner Christian. I almost called you Hurley. I don't know why. Commissioner Christian. So please rise.
Stand and bow heads, please. Heavenly Father, we thank you for tonight to live in such a beautiful city such as Leesburg. We thank you for all your blessings and your protection that you've given to us. We pray now, God, as we live in a different world than what we did on last year in a worldwide pandemic. We are so grateful to be alive, to be able to have our being and move. Tonight we celebrate Women's Equality Day. We celebrate so many changes in our nation, our city, and we embrace, God, new beginnings for so many people. We look at things different. We pray now, God, that you will grant our mayor wisdom, this council wisdom to make decisions that be beneficial for all those that are impacted by what we do and vote on tonight. We thank you for the men and women around the world who fight for our freedom that we all enjoy. Our first responders, our healthcare professionals, our teachers who embrace so many new students that came today, and to our parents who are so frustrated, confused, and maybe even excited about a new year, a new beginning. So tonight we pray for our city, our state, our nation, and our world. But God, we know that you hold this world in your hand, and we thank you for all that you're doing for us, and done for us, and about to do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have two proclamations tonight. The first one is Women's Equality Day. Whereas 1 century ago, dedicated women who had marched, advocated, and organized for the right to cast a vote finally saw their efforts rewarded on August 26, 1920, when the 19th Amendment was certified and their right to vote was secured. And whereas 50 years ago this month, the nationwide women's strike for equality was held, the largest protest for women's rights at that time. And whereas on August 16, 1973, the United States Congress designated August 26th as Women's Equality Day and authorized and requested the President to issue a proclamation annually in commemoration of these events and their significance. And whereas in the decades that followed these historic milestones, generations of women in the United States have been empowered to stand up and speak out and move this country in a more equal direction. And whereas with courage, commitment, and perseverance, women have worked to assure that the full rights and privileges, public or private, legal or institutional, which are available to male citizens of the United States, are available to all citizens equally, regardless of sex. And whereas women continue to tear down barriers and shatter glass ceilings, yet this progress is not guaranteed, and the work must go on to ensure that all women can live full and healthy lives in the pursuit of personal and professional goals. And whereas it is crucial that we strive toward fairness and opportunity in workplace policies, because when women succeed, our economy and our country succeed. And whereas even as we recognize the accomplishments that so many women fought so hard to achieve, we must continue to confront the challenges that remain on the path to equality and expanding opportunity for women and girls everywhere. Now, therefore, I, Elise Dennison, Mayor of the City of Leesburg, do hereby proclaim August 26, 2020 as Women's Equality Day in the City of Leesburg, and call upon all citizens to celebrate the achievements of women and promote gender equality. Our Women's Club board is here to accept this. Ladies, if you'd like to come up. You're very welcome. If you want to turn around, Pam's here, and she'll take a picture for you.
You got one more, Ken and Pam.
One more.
One more.
No, leave them on. You're welcome. You're welcome. I'd like to thank Pam Hester for her revision of that proclamation. You did a beautiful job. Thank you. Okay, we have a second one today. This is for Line Workers Appreciation Day. Whereas the American electric grid encompasses over 5 million miles of transmission and distribution lines that deliver energy to homes, businesses, churches, hospitals, and schools across the country, and whereas the grid and system of electric lines must be maintained in operation 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, regardless of weather conditions, and must be capable of withstanding any hazards that occur. And whereas that system is kept in a high state of readiness by more than 120,000 steadfast and skilled men and women known as electric line workers. And whereas electric line workers are a cohesive group that must function as highly effective teams, responding to disaster areas and working in perilous conditions to restore power to homes and businesses. And whereas, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, utility line workers consistently rank in the top 10 of the most dangerous jobs in America. And the line workers from the Leesburg Electric Department risk their lives daily, working in incredibly dangerous conditions to ensure the reliable and consistent delivery of electricity to Leesburg's home and commercial enterprises. And whereas during the Atlantic hurricane season, Leesburg electric line workers remain prepared to work tirelessly day and night to safely and quickly restore power to not only our residents, but others across the state and country. And whereas it is most fitting and proper that the City of Leesburg has set aside a special day to recognize Leesburg's hometown heroes, our electric line workers. Now therefore I, Elise Dennison, Mayor of the City of Leesburg, do hereby proclaim August 26, 2020 as Line Workers Appreciation Day in the City of Leesburg, and call upon our citizens to be particularly mindful of the dangerous work done under exacting conditions day in and day out by these dedicated workers, and to show their appreciation at every opportunity by recognizing linemen throughout the community. Ladies and gentlemen, the linemen of Leesburg. We have a presentation tonight, and I'm very happy that this is happening right now because I am a member of this organization who is working on this project. I think you'll be hearing more and more about this as time goes by, and you'll find that this is an extremely exciting thing for the City of Leesburg and the students in Leesburg. So without further ado, Mr. John Vandevelde, would you please come up? Yes, please.
I would like to introduce to you our partner in the anti-bullying arena that we worked 2.5 years on, and Michaela Nichols, and she's going to do the first introduction.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Michaela Nichols. I'm the president of the Blatantly Honest Foundation, which is a 501c3 focused on anti-bullying. And I guess to start our presentation, we're going to have these two lovely ladies, Alexis and Julia, are going to show you some banners with over 1,300 signatures on them. So, I mean, you can't tell 13 100 kids, oh, they're wrong. So with that being said, we're asking for the City of Leesburg to approve the Leesburg Lunar Festival in support of our Space Rocket program focused on anti-bullying, as well as raising the City of Leesburg to a higher standard. Students were awarded with 2 space rocket flights. They have their name, pictures, essays, going up into space in the spring of 2021 and the moon in summer of 2021. We've joined together with the Leesburg Chamber of Commerce, the Leesburg Center of the Arts, and the Rotary Clubs for Leesburg to execute an event on Saturday, March 27th, celebrating the spring launch of the Aurora space capsule and its payload, as well as our Lunar 2 mission being launched in the summer of 2021. We invite all Leesburg civic organizations, churches, students, and schools to participate in this event, and because we mainly want to put the whole city of Leesburg in space and on the moon. This is a first to be proud of, recognizing the City of Leesburg for reaching out to new heights after Leesburg High School flag flew on top of Mount Everest, Antarctica, different wonders of the world, and now we're going to bring the whole city into space. Over the past 2 years, we've collected many pictures, essays, etc., which have all been transferred to a micro SD chip. This chip will be loaded in a special capsule and placed on both the Aurora flight from New Mexico and the Lunar 2 mission, which will be taking off from Kennedy Space Center. Our mission is to support anti-bullying in schools with this new and innovative program, as we've done for 2.5 years. At this time, I'd like to introduce the 2 lovely ladies behind me, Miss Alexis and Julia.
Hello. So our anti-bullying programs work. We are so a part of this. We are looking forward as LHS students to play a major role in the celebration of the return of the space capsule. And we can proudly say that Leesburg as a city, with its students and citizens, we're in space.
We as students want to be first, which motivates us to be part of a great future with the moon mission. Please, on behalf of our student body, we ask you to approve our celebration and the program we are planning.
They both are students at the Leesburg High School, and we have worked with them for the last 2.5 years, I think, on the anti-bullying program, which was very successful. I like to explain before Sandy Moore is going to speak, and I'm sure you know Sandy, about the plans that we have. It's not only that we have a big festival in March 27th that the Leesburg Lunar civic organizations can participate in that. And I think that it is very important for the image of Leesburg. And so we also have this big festival that we're going to celebrate here on the Martin Luther King Island and in this room on March 27th. When we'll have an astronaut from Houston come in and speak to us, but also a whole festival of tables with students showing what they can do in school about space, because space is our future. We like to get the whole city involved. That's why there are no fees. It's all done for free. The rockets have been paid for. Arrangements for this facility have been made for. So we can afford to do it for free because we want everybody to participate. As a matter of fact, we will ask citizens to come out and wave at the drones that will fly over, because all these pictures are going to the moon and be there in a time capsule forever. I must say that the NASA astronaut coming in here, by the way, she's expected to be a graduate of a Title I school in upstate New York. And that means that if you come from a Title I school, you still can become an astronaut in this world. You just have to work. And that's one of the messages that we want to give the kids. Nothing can hold you back in this country. So also we're creating a city of peace and a city where we don't bully on the moon, because we want it to be just a perfect environment for everybody. And we will come out with more details in the weeks to come, but it is a very exciting program, because you might not know, but the Leesburg High School flag 2 years ago was on top of Mount Everest, where we had our own Sherpa fly the flag on top of Mount Everest. And 6 months later, our flag was on the South Pole, where we have pictures that the flag was touching the gravestone of one of the big polar explorers, Sir Shackleton, who is buried right at the South Pole. Our flag was there, and now our flag is going to go to the moon. I can guarantee you that there is no other high school in the world, no other city that can do what we in Leesburg have done and are going to do. And so we hope it will lift the spirits up in Leesburg a little bit, that we are progress and we can do things that others cannot do. We are always open for questions. Please ask us what we really are planning, because things keep changing with the COVID virus. Our program now for the kids, the schools, etc., is COVID proof. It's all done over internet and virtual, etc. But our rocket is going to land on the moon with hopefully a declaration from you, the commissioners, that you approve of our programs and that you support our programs, because that will be on digital form forever, ever, the moon, and for us to say Leesburg is #1. So, without further ado, Sandy, I'm sure you can explain the festival.
Good evening, Commissioners. The Leesburg Area Chamber of Commerce is very excited to be a part of the Lunar Alliance and host our very first annual Lunar Festival. As you know, in addition to promoting our businesses and making sure our community is a place where businesses can thrive, it is also our place as a chamber to promote our city as a whole. So one of the initiatives that there has been to come alongside of our schools in support of them, and because we know that our school's performance directly ties to economic development for our cities. So this project that Dave brought to us and that has evolved over the last few months is a great opportunity to have a very unique festival that will bring our city and schools together. I think the best way to give you a feel of what the festival will look like is to think about bringing elements of the Orlando Science Center and the Kennedy Space Center right here to Leesburg. A completely interactive festival that revolves around science and STEM-based learning. The festival will have interactive booths for kids of all ages, so with age-appropriate activities, experiments, all revolving around science. There will be music and fun activities that the DJ will be doing to get the crowd involved. In addition to all the fun science stations, we are working on hosting a robotics competition that day and having a solar oven bake-off and solar car races. Thanks to the generosity of Dave Vandervelde, as he just mentioned, we are going to be flying in an astronaut from Houston that will be giving talks throughout the day and also available for kids to take pictures with and to be able to meet. We are going to be looking for sponsors throughout the community to cover the cost of the festival so that the festival itself is completely free for our students and their families. We want to kick off the event on Friday night with a 5K Lunar Glow Fun Run, which proceeds will benefit the National Honor Society Science Club at Leesburg High School. Of course, this is going to take a lot of partners to make this a huge success, and as Dave mentioned, a number of those in addition to Maria Safanovic with the Leesburg Center for the Arts, and also we have reached out to Lucy at the library. And that's really just the beginning. So once we get the go from you, we're going to be reaching out to other community partners in the community. And I just want to say, as a parent, I think this is exactly the type of event that parents are looking for. Something that has fun at its core, something that they can go around, they get to interact, and also it's educational. And when they leave, they're going to have a great impression of what a wonderful city that they live in. So with that, if we have any questions for any of us, I think we're happy to take them.
Commissioners, what they're asking for, not so much your questions, but your agreement that this will be supported by each of us verbally right now, and then a proclamation will go to the moon with your signatures on.
I think it's a great idea, and I support your efforts, and thank you for what you've already done. We look forward to a great festival.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yeah, likewise. Sounds like a great idea and happy to support it.
No, I'll just add, I fully support it and I'm very impressed. Thank you.
Anything from the audience? You know, this is Florida, and the space program is now alive and well. So what we're trying to do is spread some of that enthusiasm to Florida, to Leesburg, and let the kids know that it's in Florida, that they can make a difference in the space program and the future of the world. So thank you very much for your presentation. Very well, and they'll be hearing a lot more from us.
Mayor,
Yes.
can I just say one more thing? I just want to publicly, since I have the floor for just a minute, thank you all for your support of our schools and of our teachers. We just recently had a teacher appreciation event that we would not have been able to do had it not been for the support of our city. So thank you so much. Thank you all.
Thank you. Okay, public comments. This section is reserved for members of the public to bring up matters of concern or opportunities for praise. Issues brought up will not be discussed in detail at this meeting. Issues will either be referred to the proper staff or will be scheduled for consideration at a future City Commission meeting. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. Is there anybody that'd like to speak? Yes, please. If we could just have your name and address.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Justin Jones, and I'm a fifth-generation resident of Leesburg. I currently reside in the downtown area where I was born. I chose to rebuild my home in 2007 to raise my family where I grew up. It's been a pleasure until recently. In 2019, the City Commissioners and Planning and Zoning approved a body shop to be built right next door to my home, which is in downtown Leesburg. I expressed my concern about the degrading of my quality of life before this thing was built and completed. The project moved ahead. And since it opened up about a month and a half ago, they directed the exhaust body shop fan directly at my home. For the past 6 weeks, it's been a nightmare to live in my home because every bit of that sound travels throughout my home. There is not a room in my home where I can avoid this noise. I've gone to the city manager. I've gone to planning and zoning. I've gone to code enforcement. They all tell me there is no noise ordinance. So therefore, my quality of life has been absolutely destroyed. I just want you to know. Now I'm going to ask today, is this the best that you can do for Leesburg residents? When I asked the city manager, what can he do? He told me to get an attorney. I ask you once more, is this the best you can do for Leesburg residents?
Thank you. Is there no noise ordinance in Leesburg?
That's part of the conversation that I had with Mr. Jones, not the full conversation. That is how it ended. I recommended to Mr. Jones a number of things to do to get on the record with the police department, work with code enforcement, communication with the owners. We can revisit those things again. I don't think some of the suggestions I provided to Mr. Jones were well received, which ended in, I don't like what you did, which always ends in, well, you always have legal action. So we'll be happy to revisit again. Myself, I've talked with Mr. Jones. I believe the chief has. And I'm not sure if Dan has or not, but we'll do it. That was a difficult question, I think, on that auto shop. I believe this body, was it a 3-2 vote?
No, this body did not vote on that. In fact, there were some conversations about us being upset about that, but change of use doesn't come to us.
That was a planning and zoning issue. So duly approved by the process. So again, the best thing we can do is help Mr. Jones circle through the steps that we've had. We've offered that to him, but it's not a quick fix.
Okay. My concern not only is the noise, but if the vent or the exhaust is blowing out from a paint shop, what are they breathing in that house?
Yeah, I think, again, we'll look into those issues. Again, if it was something immediately that code enforcement could have done, we've already done it.
Okay.
Okay? So this is not a new issue for us, but we'll recircle the wagon again.
Okay. Is it necessary that we develop a code enforcement against noise? Because we've had other noise issues.
If that's something you guys want to go to, we can certainly draw that up. I think Fred
It sounds like
had
the bigger
some
issue.
opinion on that.
Yeah.
Sounds like the bigger issue is the fumes.
And the decision at that time was not to proceed with the noise ordinance. We can dig that up and start over again.
Well, I think, my opinion is Mr. Jones' family, I know his family well, his mom was my secretary. I remember when the house was, before he built his house, we lived in another house, and he's been there for a very long time. He went, when he got ready to build his house, I kind of vaguely remember that he had to go to extensive issues with historic preservation to design his house to meet downtown standards. So we made him jump through, I don't know, 2006. So he went through extensive loops, and he built a wonderful, beautiful house in downtown Leesburg, right by the police department, a magnificent house. And so when the body shop came in, there's no way we should allow a body shop to put an exhaust fan pointing to a resident who's been there. That could have been through the design process, planning, zoning, building, whoever should have had the body shop to recognize that there. I mean, I'm sure they could have pointed towards police station. They're there 24 hours a day. Maybe should have pointed the exhaust fan towards police department, and they could hear the noise. But I think it's irresponsible for us to have a resident to even go get a lawyer when that's something we should have done. And maybe I think we should talk to the owner who, I don't know the owner, but maybe the owner will come with some type of mechanism, or we assist to do something to minimize the noise from the exhaust fan so that a resident does not have to hear noise 24 hours a day and disrupt his life because we allow a business to enter downtown Leesburg and create a noise issue. So whatever we can do at staff level, working with the owner, if it has to come back to the city council, that we have to assist the owner in doing something to minimize the noise, I think we should look at that.
Has anybody talked to the auto body shop to see if they'd be willing to, yeah?
I believe Chief has. I don't have that information here.
Okay,
but
okay.
Yes, I believe we've had representatives from the city who've talked.
Okay, thank you. We will continue to look into that for you.
Thank you.
I just want to ask one question. Is it just noise, or is it noise and odors?
It's noise right now. I have a gazebo area on the side of my home, which I can no longer use. There's a barbecue grill there, and whenever that exhaust is blowing, it's not usable. I can use it on weekends, but during the work week, it's completely unusable.
Now, I feel sorry for you, and I think the city needs to make effort to get this right. That project did not come before this commission, and I'll go on the record and say I would have been against it. I didn't think it was a good fit for downtown, so I feel bad for you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else that wanted to speak tonight? Okay, we'll move to the consent agenda. Routine items are placed on the consent agenda to expedite the meeting. If the commissioner wishes to discuss any item, the procedure is as follows. Pull the item from the consent agenda, vote on the remaining items with one roll call vote, and discuss each pulled item and vote by roll call. Are there any items you wish pulled?
I can pull on C3.
5C3.
C5.
5C5. Okay.
Nothing for me.
I'm sorry?
Nothing for me.
Thank you. Okay, can we have a motion to accept and approve all other items?
Move for approval.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Peterson?
Yes.
Commissioner Roebuck?
Yes.
Commissioner Christian?
Yes.
Mayor Dennison?
Yes. Okay. 5C3. Would somebody like to introduce, please?
I'll introduce Ashby by title only.
Resolution of the City Commission of the City of Leesburg, Florida, authorizing and directing the mayor and city clerk to execute an agreement to donate property between the City of Leesburg and Community Development Corporation of Leesburg, Inc. for the purpose of donating surplus real property located at 1325 Braybury Drive for use in providing affordable housing and providing an effective date.
Move for approval.
Second.
Discussion, please.
I have to abstain from this, Mayor, because of my relationship with the CDC.
Thank you.
And I'll just say, after seeing that picture, if it was anyone else, I'd say there's no way you're going to save that house. But I've seen what the CDC's done with some of these places, and it's always amazing what the final product looks like. So excited to see this one.
Thank you, Dan.
Commissioner Peterson? No.
I'm glad John's going to renovate this house.
I was against it, thinking, no, you're not getting another free house. And then I looked at the picture. Oh, we don't want that in Leesburg.
It's not a pretty one.
It is not a pretty picture. So thank you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Roebuck?
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson?
Yes.
Mayor Dennison?
Yes. Okay, 5C5. Would somebody like to introduce, please?
I'll introduce and ask to be read by title only.
Resolution of the City Commission of the City of Leesburg, Florida, authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute a modification to the territorial agreement between the City of Leesburg and Duke Energy Florida, LLC, and providing an effective date.
Somebody move to approve, please.
Move for approval.
Second.
Discussion?
Well, I'm the one who pulled it. I'm fine with the agreement. I'm fine with the intent of the agreement. I'm just not clear exactly what we're trading. I read it twice, so I just was seeking some clarification on the before and after. And
Okay.
That's all I'm looking for.
Right. The portion that we are trading is we are receiving a section of the villages that's in Sumter County. So that would just be northwest of our existing our previously owned 470 property, what we call the 470 property. So without a map, I don't know if I can get it.
Okay, the map's coming back to me now. I think I asked this question before. There's land on the Lake County side in Leesburg. I was just surprised that we're giving up that, but then taking land in Sumter. That just seems to go against the intent of the agreement. I don't have a problem with it. I'm just trying to understand it better.
No, actually, this deal works out a lot better for us. In that the south side of our electrical territory is about the north side of Lake Denham. So if you take that line and go from like 27 all the way to the county line, that leaves about only 3/4 sections of the 470 property. So if you recall, the 470 property had that oblong kind of rectangular look like this, and it was only this quarter of it, those 3/4 sections that were in our service. Well, all of it, that was only the portion of the property that we sold to the villages that was going to be in our service territory. And then all that property is kind of surrounded by swamp and really not developable land. So basically we shifted this block for this block.
Okay, you answered my question.
We got about 100 more houses out of the deal and increased our load probably about 2-3 years earlier.
Okay, I was wondering why we weren't servicing more of the land on the Lake County side or Leesburg side, but you're saying it's
Really,
wetlands or swamp.
Yeah, nothing to trade.
Okay, thank you.
You think you could trade with Duke on
Well,
Legacy?
yeah, actually, Duke, when this, I'm sorry, Mayor, but when this is part of the thing that we kind of yelled and screamed about, wanted to give us some property out off of 44 in like 473 area. And so it's like, well, why do we want to give up 800 units that we know is going to develop versus some property way out nowhere where that's not going to. So this was the equivalent quid pro quo.
Okay, I was about 90% there. You helped me out. I just want to be sure I fully understood it. Thank you.
I'll repeat that because it's important.
The equivalent quid pro quo.
No. Any chance on getting the Duke Energy from Legacy and replacing it with the city?
I would love to, but there's no chance.
I live in Legacy, in case you wonder why that question was asked, and have Duke Energy.
There's never no chance, but I don't think we're going to see that day.
Okay. Could we have a motion for approval, please?
We do.
We did. Okay. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Christian?
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson?
Yes.
Commissioner Roebuck?
Yes.
Mayor Dennison?
Yes. Public hearings and non-routine items. 6A, would somebody like to introduce, please?
I introduce and recommend, read by title only.
An ordinance of the City of Leesburg, Florida, rezoning approximately 2.0 plus minus acres from City CIP Commercial Industrial Plan to City SPUD, Small Plan Unit Development, to allow for the development of offices or storage space for property located south of South Street and west of Gator Pond Lane, as legally described in Section 27, Township 19 South, Range 24 East, Lake County, Florida, and providing an effective date.
Motion for approval?
Move for approval.
Second.
Discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Peterson?
Yes.
Commissioner Roebuck?
Yes.
Commissioner Christian?
Yes.
Mayor Dennison?
Yes. 6B, would somebody introduce, please?
I'll introduce tonight's approve by title only.
An ordinance of the City of Leesburg, Florida, amending the zoning on approximately 0.22 plus minus acres to add a planned development overlay to allow office uses in an R3 high-density residential zoning district for property generally located south of East Main Street and west of Mike Street, as legally described in Section 25, Township 19 South, Range 24 East, Lake County, Florida, and providing an effective date.
Motion for approval, please.
Move approval.
Second.
Any discussion?
The mayor, I have to abstain from this one. Well, it's also the CDC, which is the James Durden Law Office, the first African-American attorney in Lake County, and the CDC has refurbished his office and we use for office space for new businesses in Leesburg.
Very good. That building looks like it's going to be a charming building. It really does.
It came a long way.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Roebuck?
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson?
Yes.
Mayor Dennison?
Yes. Okay, informational reports. Financial reports, any information? City attorney items?
No night, Mayor.
Thank you. City manager.
Yeah, this is just, I'll be brief. One item you brought up at the last meeting, the impact fees, that we did the impact fee contract with the Ski Bee restaurant. And I didn't have all the data, and I talked a little bit about the quid pro quo because the infrastructure that we had built here was already an absorbed expense. So we dug into those numbers a little bit. There's a million ways to skin this cat on what infrastructure is or isn't associated with that building, because the plan was ultimately to do the public-private partnership. But long story short, we're going to estimate, and this is arguable, more or less, about $26,000 to put in the infrastructure for the restaurant. About $8,000 of that in water and sewer extensions, and that's where it's arguable because we were looping the system anyway, but the direct cost based on what we got back or what we paid to Evergreen for the water line, basically from the valve up at this corner down to the site, and then the sewer from about the oak tree over to the lift station. Those two numbers are about $8,000 total. And then the lift station, we did upsize the lift station by about 25%. That cost, we estimated around $18,000. So 26 was the cost. Again, you can argue that either way. The impact fee paid or financed was $60,000. So our infrastructure cost is less than the impact fee, and we did the deal which was on the book. So long story short, I don't think you have money at risk there. I think it was part of the overall plan.
Excellent. Question on the restaurant. When is the building going to start?
They're telling me they were talked to Thad Boyd about a week ago, and a week ago is about 3 weeks out. So they're still in place. I know they talk with the building and Dan regularly. The permits are all getting issued. So
excellent. We have a lot of people asking about that.
They are still looking. They pushed back a little bit, but still looking at about a June 21.
Thank you. Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Christian?
Tonight I want to say on behalf of the CDC, thanks to the City Council and the staff for working with the CDC. There's some great things that are happening within the CDC. We'll be hopefully making a presentation to the City Council just on some things that are happening. We're excited about the new hotel that's being constructed. The Dabney property like it's moving forward with some medical offices, and the Washington Street apartments finally look like they're being rated for some long-term stability. So I think the East Leesburg area that's going to lead to downtown around the hospital is going to be a very attractive and exciting area for Leesburg. So I'm excited about the restaurant coming here at Venetian Gardens, and I'm excited about what's happening downtown. Even in a pandemic, I think we're still positioning ourselves for some great things to happen here in Leesburg. I would like to ask Al, I don't know where we are with the apartments that were once proposed near the hotel, but I think it's be vital for our downtown as more people we get close to downtown and make it a viable and sustainable downtown. So I would just like to ask the staff or maybe circle back on the hotel, the apartments, and just see if that's still in play. They got the finance, or because of the pandemic, they probably just, kind of put everything on cool. But I'm still a proponent. I think the more people we get close to downtown, the more successful our downtown restaurants and stores will be. I had a chance to go down and visit Clearmont. I like what they're doing on their waterfront. So maybe not next year, Al, but maybe you can pull out your magic wand and get some more stuff happening doing our waterfront, because I think it'll be a great addition to Leesburg. So I know you don't need anything else on your plate, but I think this area, I think, is going to be a very attractive area for the city of Leesburg. So whatever we can do for our businesses that are here. I know Mr. Roebuck has a business right near that has people that are working. They need somewhere to eat. So I think if we do something that's going to be really attractive for our hospital, our industry here, I think it'll be attractive for business. So whatever we can do, I think to get near downtown will be a plus for Leesburg. So once again, thanks on behalf of CDC. I'm excited about the Durden building and the house, Floridale. Many of you remember that. I think we received that house. CDC put about $150,000 of cash into that house, and I will happy to show you some pictures before and after. We're involved with some little legal litigation right now, so we can't sell it, but I'll be happy to get a presentation later on it so you can see kind of the work the CDC has done. And I thank Al for your building department. I think they've been wonderful to work with. Sometimes we get a difficult neighbor that takes us through the ringer, but I think the building department has been fantastic and very amenable to what we're trying to do at the CDC. So once again, thanks to everybody for your support of what the CDC is doing. That's all I have, Madam Mayor.
Thank you.
Commissioner Roebuck.
Speaking of downtown, I think one thing we do need to look at addressing is the downtown overlay and what the permitted uses are. Because, with Mr. Jones's issue with that body shop, that certainly never should have been allowed in the downtown district. The problem is that it is allowed in the downtown district. So I agree with trying to help them out because, unfortunately the body shop is completely legal and our current overlay allows that. So I'd like us to maybe relook at what we are allowing so we don't have this happen again in the future. Especially as downtown's growing, we want to make sure that growth is the type of businesses that should be downtown, shouldn't be industrial, and the best way to do that, I think, is by just addressing it through the zoning. That's it.
Commissioner Peterson.
While we're on downtown, I'll just bring up, and I know I brought it up before, but the second floor residential units, it's my understanding that the issue, we have to sprinkle those. Our owners have to put sprinklers in to have residents upstairs, and I believe in other cities around here, Umatilla, I believe Eustis has a lot of upstairs residential units. Maybe they're sprinklered, but they don't look like they have the value to be sprinklers. So I just challenge staff to look at that again. I've had a lot of property owners downtown bring this up. We've got a lot of upstairs, second floor buildings downtown that are sitting empty. So we're talking about, downtown and all the positives. And I think if we could do anything to help these owners, invest and develop the upstairs for their sake and people who want to live downtown.
Thank you. Is that a code issue, Al?
It's a code and infrastructure issue. Residences upstairs are required to be sprinklered. In some it's an infrastructure issue because the city doesn't have existing water main that can get the capacity. And some buildings, then it's an additional increase to get that water pressure and that volume up to those second floors. I think Commissioner Roebuck asked about this a couple years ago. We dug into it. We did the numbers. It didn't move too fast, but I know exactly where that is sitting on the hard drive, so I can freshen up those numbers. I want to say we looked at 6 or 8 buildings and did an estimate cost for each one of them, and so we can revisit that. show you the cost. I want to say 6 to 8 buildings. The cost was ranging 20 to 80 grand, depending on which building. Don't hold me to those. That's
Okay,
rough
no,
house.
you're helping
But
me. I do remember some of that discussion now. I guess I just like to understand it better and see what we can do to help the owners downtown. It's my understanding that in some municipalities, if you have 2 forms of exit, that is satisfactory. So I know I've been told that's not possible, but I just throw that back out there again for discussion. I mean, to me, that's more attractive than the sprinklers. So.
And I think we did something there with Opera House. I think we did a vision tour in Savannah. And I think with Opera House, I think the city actually did like a CRA grant or some type of assistance the city did with the Opera House. I think that was one of the things we brought back from Savannah, and they had the same issue with the upstairs and the sprinkler system. So we did some type of financing or something we did with Opera House, so that may be somewhere in the city archives that we may want to look at that again.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Al.
Mayor Dennison?
Excellent ideas, everybody. Thank you. Especially upgrading the code and building in downtown Leesburg. I think the building that we discussed tonight really has no right to be in downtown Leesburg. So thank you. And also the safety precautions. And of course, the beautification of Leesburg by the CDC. Thank you. Okay, the Moat Morris House. Our TV station is going to be producing probably monthly an update by Evergreen on what's happening with the Moat Morris House. So I haven't heard much, just like you, about what's happening, except it's being worked on. So now we're going to see it from the inside to exactly how it's moving along and what's happening. So please look forward to that on the TV station, the Lakefront TV station. The Moon Project, which you heard about tonight, I think the kids in the city can really get into this and really excited. Just the thought of going back into space and building that with the excitement, it's here in Florida. So I think that's got a lot of planning to do, and I think it's really going to be a winner for the city. So no pricing, okay? Everything's going to be taken care of. The businesses, the photographs that are going up, there'll be a charge that the businesses can help with and whatnot, but keep your eye out for that because I think it's going to be exciting. And the other thing, I understand we were looking into some more Silver Lake annexing out there for construction property. Is that correct?
The city or just other projects that are, the city specifically isn't looking into anything.
Okay, yeah, it
But
was somebody that stopped me to ask that some property was going to be sold there and it was going to be annexed into the city for another project. And my only question is, nobody out there seemed to know about it except this individual and a couple others. So
Yeah, the only thing that I can think of off the top of my head on that is there's a, what's the name of that subdivision, Dan, that's going on north side of Silver Lake off of 44? What? Ostrander. There is a subdivision that is going through process now. It's on Dan's desk, looking probably like it's. I think we meet with them on Wednesday. They've got some density issues, but there is a parcel, acres, Dan, 150, something like that.
I believe it was 83.
83. Okay. Roughly, the parcel goes from if you north side of Silver Lake, those residential homes that abut the north. If you go on the back side of those, from 44 kind of to Wedgewood, that's the span that's being talked about being annexed, and then that hooks into 44, and that's how we're contiguous. That's the only one I know out there.
what is the annexing procedure? Do you notify the people that live there and are homeowners?
Yes.
Prior to this?
Yep.
I think that's probably what the question was. Nobody heard anything about it, and the rumors are flying.
I don't know about that. Our office has been inundated. So, remember too, just real quick for everybody, the process is twofold, okay? Whenever we annex something, we annex the property, then we zone it, then we land use it. So the annex is bring it in, the zone is what do we want it to look like, and then the land use is what do we want this in the future. So that's the three-step process. That goes to the planning board, the recommendation. then that comes to you, and in each of those phases, we give public notice. I think statute says we have to notice everybody within, is it 500 feet? Is that the magic number? 200 feet. So those notices went out. I don't know rumors about that one. Dan's office did receive some issue.
Right, we will be having that one on the September 24 Planning Commission meeting.
So September, so that puts it on
And
your
the letters
desk.
will be going out, I believe, I'm not sure if it's this Friday or next Friday, but the letters are scheduled to go out. Everything is planned. There's a lot of rumors out there, though.
Yeah, oh, there
Social
always
media works
are.
overtime.
So that schedule probably puts it on your desk here at the first public hearing, October-ish.
Great. Whenever I can nip a rumor in the bud, it's good. Okay, anything else? Anything else from the audience? Yes? Yeah, show the camera behind you. Thank you, Tracy. Okay, if that's it, motion to adjourn? We are adjourned.